Fight fans, fight fans, fight fans, fight fans. This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News. And once again, I am live. I thank everybody that came or stopped by to hit the like button. We have Marlon Thornell on the chat, the first one to leave a message. Bless you. Afternoon, Kurt. Hope you're feeling better. God bless. Thank you, man. I am feeling a lot better. I got my air physio out. It's a device where you blow into, instead of using the steroid chemicals. I'm able to blow into it, and it draws the mucus or the bacteria of the bronchitis out of you. So I'm fortunate I found it, and I just started using it right before I just took a shower. I'm fresh out of the shower. I just finished another video of Simon Jordan, and we're gonna roll right into this Conor Benn interview. And I heard a lot of things about it. Tony Lyons, yes, my brother Kurt. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Tony Lyons in the building. Ed, Counterpunch, CP to you. Let's hit that like button for the small number of people in. If you haven't hit that like button, we're gonna start this Conor Benn interview, and then we're gonna counterpunch it all the way through, and we're gonna go blow by blow and see how the reactions were. Because a lot of times when you have interviews like this, and you have someone like Piers Morgan, he'll say some certain things that makes fighters, tone ignite. Okay, the reaction is not necessarily how they say it; it's how they say it versus how they look when they say it. Their tone when they say it, their demeanor. Like any detective or any investigating police officer or whatever agent, they're asking questions and they're looking at body language. They're watching, they're seeing if their hands are moving, or if their leg is trembling, or if they can't stand still, or if they're calm, or do they look to the left, or do they look to the right, or do they look up, or they look down. These things they pay attention to. Okay, and I want people to understand, like, that's exactly what we need to look at and see when we're watching this video with Conor Benn. Conor Benn's pretty much a straight shooter. You know what I mean? He's rather brash. So we want to see if he has that same brashness, that same normal energy, or that normal personality that we're accustomed to. I think that's very, very important, because if it's anything different, well, obviously that tells us, Nedsta. Salute to you, brother. Counterpunch to you. Kurt, loved your last video on Fury about people start putting their foot on Fury's neck. I mean, it's not about Fury's neck, though. It's about anyone's neck that's bullshitting us, that's giving us smoke and mirrors. Like, it's not a personal thing about Fury. It's just Fury is not doing what we want him to do. And if he's not doing what we want him to do, we have to put him on the grill and roast him. That's it. Um, Hope you're feeling better. Love Kurt, bless up, bro. Drink that ginger. Yeah, I got some. I got to get some more ginger, man. I had bought some ginger root. I chop it up. I put my lemons in there and I boil it. So, yeah, I'm definitely working on it. I gotta say, before this live gets too filled up with comments, I actually believe Conor. My opinion, obviously. Yeah, we gotta see. You know what I mean? Because I do look at other fighters that have tested positive. Like, you guys remember Jarrell Miller? Of course, you dudes do. He's the guy that blew $6 to $7 million for cheating. And his attitude before, he was like, "Don't believe everything you hear. I'm just trying to tell you, they out to get me. Don't worry about nothing. I'm gonna make this straight." And then, like, the next day, he was like, "I made a bad call. I'm dying inside." That, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, that's your admittance of guilt. We ain't seen this from Conor Benn, not yet. if we will, right? So hope you enjoyed that sushi, brother. Yeah, yeah, it was good. It was good. I was killing it. I was killing it. Damn, that I eating it on the thing? Um, Damn, I guess I was. I wasn't paying because I know I was eating it, and I think I was eating while I was listening. So yeah, yeah, I was killing it, man. I had I think it's like a LSU roll, and it had like salmon and cucumbers and stuff in it, seaweed, all the good stuff. Yeah, it was pretty good. Run up the like button, peeps. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a big Fury fan, and I'm frustrated with him. Joe, Bagon donuts. Bagon donuts. Okay. Bag of donuts. Okay. Yeah, yeah. And see, Fury, he gets look, if you can get the bastard in the ring, that's a whole nother story. But all this back and forth and all this stuff, it's like, dude, it's too much. Tyson talk about having anxiety and all this kind of stuff and get stressed out. Man, think about your fans, Tyson. You have people stressed out about you. J underscore Matt Kid 7. um, you know what I meant, brother. I didn't mean it. It was a personal attack. Yeah, I know what you mean. Conor guilty, says St. Don. He shouldn't be hung. He shouldn't be hung for it though. Just take a backdated ban and crack on. Well, you guys know I don't care. I mean, not saying I don't care. Because see, the more people do it, the more you're gonna have situations where it will hurt someone very badly or alter someone or take someone's life. So, but it doesn't guarantee anything. We got 37 people and only 7 likes. Ring his doorbell. Wipe your feet before you enter Kurt's house. Ed, I heard that. Nesta say he's guilty. Now, for fuck's sake, or bust. He's acting like a spoiled brat. It's so obvious. He's took something. Yeah, bag of donuts. Yeah, yeah. I had to break it down. It was crazy. I was with a friend of mine, man, and we have this thing, right? Where we were watching you guys ever seen Black Mirror? You guys ever seen Black Mirror? It's a television show on Netflix. Well, one of the first episodes of the first season was called Nosedive. But see, me, I'm dyslexic as fuck. So I'm looking at it like, what the fuck? So I read it and I'm like, no sedive. What the fuck is no sedive? Then she starts laughing to the point, bro. Like she starts rolling to the like you ever seen them people that they start laughing and they laugh when they're really laughing? That shit's like different because they're actually tickled. You know. She starts snorkeling. And I was like, what's so fucking funny? Because, I'm looking at her like, what? What? And she says, no sedive. And she was like, you bougie motherfucker. I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, that's nosedive, you dunce. I was like, damn. And because normally if it was nosedive, it'd be some kind of hyphen or something. I don't know. But obviously the shit's like breakfast. Nothing would have came if Chris Eubanks Sr. had never tipped off the Daily Mail. He knew, feared for his son's life. You tried to kill my boys. Fury threw that mental health shit about when it's convenient for him, but he don't seem to have the same energy Usyk has. He's holding shit up like he did with AJ. Now it's Usyk. I mean, look at it like this with Tyson, though, right? Before we start, because we're getting close to that mark before I start this interview. Okay, Carlos, I see you. I'm gonna get to you, fam. Um, like if you're Tyson, you're like, man, and if if you label yourself after Floyd, I get it. You label yourself after Floyd Mayweather, you don't want to put yourself in a situation to get beat up, to get defeated, to take a L. Why would you do that? Like, I ain't fighting this fucking dude. He might beat me. He might be better than me. But do you think someone like Tyson will ever admit that like this dude is actually good and he actually has a chance of beating me? No, he ain't gonna say that. You know what I mean? What's good, fam? Ben just needs to stop with all the BS. Carlos, I'm coming for you, brother. I'm coming, man. I don't know when I'm coming, but I'm coming down there, man. Um, Dion W. Appreciate it with that. Cinco! First super chat of the day. Fury is ducking Usyk right before our very eyes. It was a Hall of Famer that predicted Fury would find a reason not to fight Usyk. I forgot who it was. Well, you know, Eddie Hearn said that. He said if Eddie Hearn, like if Usyk does that, if Usyk fights, and if Tyson gets an opportunity to fight Usyk, he will duck him. I need to watch that interview. Quan's Big Guns. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it together. So we just need a few more people in here before I start. At least 50. Big up CP, Ken Folk, CP to all. Gray, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Tony Lyons, I think with Ben trying to prove himself is really pissing Hearn off. Yeah, I think Eddie wants to, because you know Eddie already told him like, crack on, mate. Get on with your business. Stop this shit. And then I think sometimes you can do too much. Like Canelo. Canelo just stopped talking about it. All you need to do, being a fighter, being anybody, you being like a public figure, an athlete, or like Floyd says, an athlete. If you're that, right, all you need to do is just listen, don't ask me that. You can tell somebody that beforehand, like, look, don't ask me about PEDs. I'm done with it. Don't ask me the same question. And if you ask me that question, I'm not going to answer the questions. You're not going to interview me again. Just shut the shit down. You know, Fury knows Usyk has probably his number after he schooled AJ twice. He's only getting better. Well, I don't know if Usyk's getting better. I think the styles make the fights. And see, the whole idea of someone like Usyk thinking that he can beat, like, confident that he can beat Tyson, there's a good chance he can beat Tyson. You know what I'm saying? Like, a person like Usyk, I think, yeah, he challenges himself. I get it, but you see, when you've been with that many fighters, right? When you fought that many guys in your career, you know, anything from Joe Joyce to Artur Beterbiev, you know, and then professional, Chisora, Bellew, Joshua, you know, like if you fought that many people, you know people's style. You know pretty much what they can do. You know what you're up against. You know, it's not really, it's like Ukrainians are similar to Cuban fighters. Like a lot of Cuban fighters, they have all that experience because they fought everybody. They've been in there with pretty much every single style. That's why Lada was not intimidated by Canelo, because he already knew I could beat this guy. I've seen that shit all over there. I know what he does. You know what I mean? He has to be set to punch. He's a good counter puncher, but he has to set to do that. All I got to do is use the ring and box him all night. You don't have to engage in him and set yourself up to get caught with the traps that he's setting up. And because he has to be still to set them up. That's easy. You know, Conor, Benn has the same doctor that Fury had, and we all know that doctor specialized in masking PEDs. Oh, no, I didn't actually. If Ben held his hands up, said sorry, it'll be forgotten by now. Well, he didn't want to do that. Obviously, he didn't want to do that. Carlos Valencio, what's up, brother? Have burger coming soon. Man, I appreciate that. There comes another Cinco. Listen, if you guys are ever in Waco, okay, I missed them, but I miss him. You got to check out Carlos. He has his own food truck. That shit is phenomenal. If you guys are anywhere from fucking ages 30 to 45, and you know what real burgers were in like the early 90s, those are those type of burgers you should expect, like a homemade burger. So if you're ever in that area, man, look up Carlos, you know, that same name. Nothing else. Look them up on Facebook. If you can't find them, look me up. Same name, Kurt DeVille. And then look for him with that. I don't hide my friends and shit like that. No friends to show. I don't do that. Kurt has been saying for years that he suspects Fury is avoiding fighters who can beat him. Yeah, I mean, when you that shit in 2021, I really became suspicious. That's when I first began to get weary of Fury bars. I was weary of Fury because it was just like, okay, that the COVID thing. And then see, he got a break because everybody was in his shit. Everybody was in Tyson's shit, and I'm about to get off of Tyson, but he got a break because of his daughter. His daughter had problems, complications, in Paris, when they had their last kid, and then that's when everybody's like, oh shit, well, oh, you know what I mean? Shit got real. Criticism ceased. But then, the shit got right back up. I mean, he beat Wilder and everybody loved Fury for a while, you know what I mean? And what ended up happening was it was like after that, then wait, because we see Usyk beat Joshua first, then Fury knocked out Wilder. So yeah, Usyk beat AJ, but I wouldn't say schooled. Well, yeah, because I mean Usyk had a lot more than just skill. That motherfucker's tough too. He ain't just like a person that's like a river dancer or something like that. And as soon as you hit him, that's his Achilles heel. He don't have an Achilles heel. Well, look, if I say Usyk had any type of flaw, it would be that he has the Eastern European thin skin. That Vladimir Klitschko, that Vitaly Klitschko, that Lomachenko. He has that type of skin where it cuts easy. It's thin. So he does cut and he bruises fast. The Gennady Golovkin. You see Golovkin. Golovkin has shit everywhere. You know what I mean? He's a light-skinned guy. So that the fair skin, you can see whelps and cuts and stuff like that, and he cuts faster. That would be the only thing. But by that definition, so does Tyson Fury. Okay? Conor being likes eggs. Kurt, do you think AJ is the Hall of Famer as of now? No, not yet. No. Mm-mm. Because a lot of people, if he does, because see, he did it too fast. Joshua did that shit too fast. So, if he becomes 3-time and he reigns it for a while, yeah, then he gets the sport out of boxing with a pretty decent resume. Dion W, member for 5 months, Counterpunch Silver. Okay, I'm about to start this interview. All right, so if you guys are ready, just give me a Y or N. Let me know if you're ready. Let me know if you guys are sitting down, focused. 100% Fury beats Usyk. Unicat in the building. Letta McCauley, I think you will find it's Usyk that has been dropped a few times by belly shots, not Fury. Okay, yeah, man. Gray's ready. Quan Big Guns. Nope, Usyk will give Fury at a hiding. You will see. Okay, who's all ready? Who's all ready besides Quan Big Guns and Gray? Are we ready to hear Piers Morgan and Conor Benn face to face? Tell me if you guys are ready. By a Y or an N, please. Fury is taller than Usyk. Okay. Yes. Okay, good. Joe, we're ready. Letitia, we're ready. Okay. Yes. Piers Morgan ended Ronaldo man's United career. That goes for nothing. Yeah, I'm ready. Cool. Okay, we're about to start. So here we go. All right.
Thank you for joining me. Why are you doing this interview? Because I feel like a lot of people have speculated and had time to say what they want to say, and I've never been able to speak on it.
The court of public opinion has been pretty savage about what's happened. I think it's because when the public hear anything about drugs in sport or cheating or anything like that, they immediately assume the worst. And most of the time they're right to assume that, let's be honest about it. You're in that horrible position for any sportsman where you failed 2 drug tests and you're trying to prove your innocence. But you've probably seen what social media has been saying. How has that impacted on you?
I mean, it's been brutal. It does feel like a witch hunt. I've never seen anything quite like this before in any other athlete, whether they've raised their hands to it or, they've just taken a small ban. I was willing to fight for my innocence and prove my innocence. Although there was an easy way out in the beginning in lying and saying, oh, I may have accidentally done this. I may have done this by accident and taken a small 6-month ban. Instead, I've chose to fight this because my integrity mattered more to me, and I would never, ever, ever raise my hands to something that I ain't done.
4 months ago, you were preparing for one of the biggest fights of your life against Chris Eubank Jr. Everyone was waiting for this, huge anticipation. We all remembered what happened when the 2 fathers fought. I remember it very well. I know your dad well, and Chris Eubank Sr. And then your world falls apart. What is that moment like for you when you heard about the failed drug test?
I didn't think anything of it, to be fair, when it was the first one. When they said they found an adverse finding, I didn't really think anything of it.
Really?
No, not at all.
Isn't that every sportsman's nightmare?
No, because I thought there may have been an error. I thought, let's run another test straight away. I've never even heard of this thing before. This is the first time I heard of this.
It's a drug which is clomiphene, which can boost testosterone levels by up to 50%.
I'm 26.
And reduce body fat. Yeah, I'm just saying what it is.
Yeah, so I'm 26. So when people are saying that I may have needed a testosterone booster, I'm 26 years old. Yeah, I didn't even know what this thing was at the time. So for me, I thought, okay, it may have been, an error or an accident somewhere we can find out what's happened. And then when I found out that, there'd been a second adverse finding was when I was like, okay, now something's actually wrong. There's something wrong here. And
what are you feeling inside yourself at that point?
Who's done this to me? I genuinely looked around and I thought it was the hardest part of this whole period. Of everything I've been through, this was the hard part, was because I was looking around and thinking, okay, I am actively taking it. It's actively in something, or something's happened. It's definitely there. And these were the thoughts that were going on through my head. Who's done this?
Do you accept this was in your body?
I don't accept it was in my body, not at all. Based on independent scientists looking at the reports, based on my own scientists looking at the reports, and what we found. People say you may have paid for the best legal team. Damn right I paid for the best legal team. Damn right I paid for the best scientists. My career's on the line. My image is on the line. My name is on the line. And I can't be known for this. And it was more so me employing the best people to find out what had actually happened.
What do you think of people who cheat in sport?
It should be banned for life. Especially in contact sport.
It should be banned for life?
Yeah, banned for life. There's no room for it. There's been a fighter today who's just had a brain hemorrhage. There's no room for it. I know firsthand the damage it does from my dad with Joe McLennan from Michael Watson.
I was there inside of that fight. I mean, both men got taken to the hospital. Both nearly died.
And you think I do this, and people think I do this. It's hard for me because it's like I turned pro at 19. I'm under the public eye. They've seen how hard I work over the years. They've seen, the three in the morning runs. They've seen the nutrition. They've seen the work I put in with my coaches. Everyone can vouch for how hard I work, but that's not good enough.
Normally, I would say the vast majority of times a sportsman test positive for drugs. They always say, I didn't do it, invariably. And then almost always it is proven that they did. You're in the strange position of, you're in a kind of mid position right now, because the WBC have come back and they have said that they think there may have been reasons why you had this in your body, but they have made the presumption it was in your body. You don't even accept that.
I don't accept that.
So when they say you may have taken And it got a lot of attention, this, and some mockery.
Yeah.
But when they said it may have been a highly elevated consumption of eggs, could have created this positive testing, you don't even accept that.
I don't accept that, no. The WBC, while I was me and my team were on the phone to them on a Zoom call, they had come out and said that one of their scientists are currently dealing with 2 cyclists who have tested positive for clomiphene traces, and they can prove it's in the embryos and the eggs. I'm not willing to accept it because the 270-page report that I sent over to them, what my team sent over to them, had nothing to do with eggs. It had everything to do with my testing negative 3 times, and 9 days later testing positive.
They didn't conclude they found anything wrong with the testing.
Okay, so that was getting steamy because now Benn is saying that it wasn't about the eggs at all. It wasn't about the eggs, the slightest bit. So let's continue.
What they did say, they said there was no conclusive evidence that Mr. Benn engaged in intentional or knowing ingestion of clomiphene.
I don't believe it was there in the first place. You got to remember, I don't even know what this thing is. Coincidentally, for my first VADA test, coincidentally for the biggest fight of my career, there's a substance in my body that I haven't even heard of.
The reality is this particular drug, which is becoming more prevalent in sport, and no one's quite sure why, but it can, as I said, boost testosterone levels by 50%. It can reduce body fat. So it clearly would have tangible benefits on an athlete. I mean, it would. Whoever the athlete is, it would help. If someone was doing it deliberately, it would help.
Well, definitely. But what the WBC is saying is even the peak of it in my system is still only a trace.
Why don't you give this dossier 270 pages of it? Why don't you give it to the British Boxing Board of Control? Because they're ultimately the ones that can sanction or not sanction your right to fight in this country.
My dad tore up his British boxing licence on TV in the 80s. The board ain't going to stop me from fighting. They can't stop me from fighting.
Well, they can stop you having a professional fight in this country.
In this country, and that's fine, so be it.
Is that fine?
They filed 7 misconduct charges against me. One of them was they wanted, because we wanted the fight to go ahead. The second one was because we didn't tell Eubank immediately. And on the Monday they said, we're upholding all charges. I thought you lot can do one. You think I'm going to sit here and take this?
But if you have what they've said is, well, show us the evidence.
But I couldn't care.
You've got 270 pages of apparent evidence. Surely the smart thing to do, whatever your views of the Board of Control, they are the governing body. Surely you should just give them your evidence. Let them respond.
That's down to my legal team.
Well, what would stop you? I don't understand what stops you.
My pride, the way they've dealt with this,
pride won't get you through this.
But the board, I don't have to be licensed by the board. That's my views on it.
You do the fight in Britain.
I don't plan on fighting in Britain anytime soon.
Just put it.
Okay, whoa, wait a minute. Piers Morgan just mentioned something that made a lot of sense. All those pages that he gave to the WBC and was cleared or whatnot, he's not, or his team has not given that paperwork, that 270-page dossier. He hasn't gave it to UCAD. So it's basically like he's deciding to discontinue dealing with them. And that's it, him saying, well, I'm mad. I agree with Piers Morgan. That's not going to get you anywhere. Anybody could fucking do that. That was guilty. Anybody could say, you know what? Fuck you guys. You guys did me wrong. You guys put my name in the mud. You did this. You did that. I don't have to deal with you. I don't have to work with you. I don't have to. You don't have to govern me because I don't have to fight in this country. Listen, doing that will not make you look more or seem more innocent. If anything, it'll make you seem more guilty. Because you're just telling this particular party over here and everybody else, this is what I have as evidence. But the people that put your name through the mud, that's the person or the people or the group you need to send that to see, aha, I told you so. That's the first person that I'm going to see. Because first of all, they're the one in charge. I'm from the UK, so I'm British. So I'm going to fight in this country, whether you like it or not. Not, oh, I don't have to deal with you. I don't have to fight here. Fuck y'all. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing to me. I'm gonna go somewhere. I'll go to Australia. I can go, if that's not the same governing body as the UK, it might be. But I'm going to Canada. I'm going to Mexico. I'm going to, I'm going to the United States of America. I don't have to deal with you all. But then why are you talking about something as evidence and you can't provide it to all parties involved? Counterpunch. No, it don't look good. If you have never met a narcissistic, Ben is exactly one who sounds and looks like. Let's continue. Let me see if I didn't miss anybody. I said, yeah, don't look good. Okay, then won't he go on with Simon? He should go on Simon Jordan. He'll end up punching Simon Jordan in the mouth because Simon, if he did anything like he did to Frank Warren, more than likely he'll do a worser job on Conor Benn, because he'll say that not only on Piers Morgan's real informative. He's not really brash. Simon Jordan will make you punch him in the face, people. Okay, Silver Fox. All right, St. Don, did you sniff lines with fear? Oh God, you guys are tripping. Anyway, let's continue.
I want to. Trust me.
What's stopping you?
The ongoing legal cases. That's the only
You
reason.
seem to look. This is your career, your livelihood. This is everything at stake here, isn't it?
No, I agree.
Everything's on the line.
I agree, and this is what I keep trying to tell my lawyer, that you can't do this, you can't do that. Mate, this would have been public. I've known what I've known since December, and I've kept quiet. Everyone firing, everyone attacking me, and I've known what I've known since December. And I'm sitting here again going, well, why can't we just release the information? Why can't the public just know what's actually gone on?
Because the public, from what I looked at it today, social media, is savage. They've convicted you. They think you're guilty.
And I'm going to have to deal with that, I think. I think public
How
made up
are you going to deal with that?
There will be...
Because then you heard your promoter says, look, it's time that you've got to move on, you've got to progress. What do you think when he says that?
Well, I don't think I think the public have made up their mind already. Irrelevant of what's presented, irrelevant of what the board say. I've got strong DNA and I'm one hell of a fighter. Naturally, I work hard, I've made loads of sacrifices, and I'm willing to do what other people aren't willing to do. And that's why I'm where I am, not because of cheating.
If you feel this passionately about it, I can sense it. I can sense you're emotional about this. To be branded a cheat in the court of public opinion, what has that done to you?
Yes, it's hurt me. Yeah, it's hurt me. This has. Yeah.
How badly?
I didn't think I was going to make it through this period. I didn't think I was going to make it through. It was a shame for something I hadn't even done. It's hard because it was like I felt like I was on death row for something I hadn't even done. If I had done something wrong, I'm human. I raised my hands to it. I made a mistake, whatever it is, my personal life, whatever it is, I raised my hands. Never this. And I felt like 7 years of hard work and sacrifice and leaving my family and the image I maintained was just, ruined at somebody else's incompetence. It was it's been hard for the family.
When you say you didn't think you'd make it, what do you mean?
If you need
here's the problem. Problem is, if you already know people have made their mind up, you gotta grow some thinner, because it looks like he's about to cry right now. Which I can understand, if Conor Benn didn't do anything, which, and it doesn't seem like you can. It doesn't seem believable. I'm going to tell you why I don't. At the beginning of this interview, he said, the first time I failed this drug test, I didn't think nothing of it. I just thought, well, it had to be a mistake, this, that, and the other. Well, then he fails it again. And then he says, well, in my mind, obviously, I have to actively be taking this stuff and don't know it. Okay. Then he says, now, mind you, then he says, like, oh, I don't think it was the eggs. Well, and the doctors, I failed, I passed 3 tests, or I came back negative 3 tests, and one I found positive. And I'm like, well, It's either you have to be eating different varieties of shit or in taking different varieties of supplements, or you're cheating. There's no way around it. Because, see, had it been, if I'm a person that I'm an athlete, I'm a boxer, and I come back dirty, and I know God, right hand to God, I did not do anything. I did not willfully do anything. I didn't intentionally do anything. I'm 26 years old. I'm a good fighter. People are going to shit on my name. All those knockouts that I've accumulated either here or in the States or wherever. And someone says, man, some cyclists, they just came back with that same shit you had in your system, and it was from eggs. You've been eating a lot of eggs lately? And he says, no. And I'm like, okay, my thing about Conor Benn, okay, I want you guys to pay attention. How do you know that it wasn't the eggs? That makes that shit suspect to me. Let me say that again. If Conor Benn is 100% confident, positive, sure of, no drugs that ever been in his body, willfully, no way, no how, it couldn't have happened. I am convinced. I know myself. Okay? Then why would you turn down the possibility of it being eggs? Unless you knew it was something else that you just ain't trying to say. You know? Psycho Crusher, what's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. He can't dismiss the eggs unless he doesn't eat eggs at all. And how many eggs is it? Is a lot of eggs. Exactly. Double J, exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like, it ain't the eggs at all. Motherfucker, how you know? You got popped twice with the same shit. So obviously it's something that you was taking that you didn't know you were taking. And here's the thing. There's not enough evidence. Oh, we're in a legal process. Dude, everybody's always in a fucking legal process. At some point, this shit has to be talked about. I understand when you're going through court, you don't reveal certain evidence because it might impact this or may impact that. But if a verdict has been set, open the floodgates. Please tell us what's going on. What happened? You know what I mean? It seems like he got the Canelo excuse off, or that dumbass excuse that Oscar Valdez made with the tea. Remember, he had the tea, and he said the tea was the reason why he didn't, that bullshit, Okay. Let's go.
I didn't think I would, I was taking it day by day. I didn't think I'd see another day.
You were feeling suicidal?
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. Yeah, and it upsets me now because I don't know how I got so bad. I got in a really bad way. Like, you got to remember, if you think I'm innocent or if you don't think I'm innocent, I am innocent.
I mean, look, let me be clear. I don't know, right? This is the first time we've met. I know your father from old. I've watched you from afar. I've admired your work in a boxing ring. I don't know if you're innocent.
I would never do this to my family. I would never do this to my supporters. You think I'd do this to my dad? You think I'd do this to my son, who's now got to grow up and look at this? You think it's not who I am? I don't. There's been too many,
What kind of thing?
Just kill yourself.
People have told you to kill yourself.
Kill yourself. People said, kill yourself. Racist comments to my son, my family.
On social media?
Yeah.
Anything in person? In the
Nothing
streets?
in person, no. Nothing in person. It's cowardly. It's cowardly. I don't even think it's social media that bothers me. It was more so the shame I felt leaving the house. Although I'd done nothing wrong. I was having night terrors, panic attacks, and I don't throw these words at it, mental health. I was really struggling. I was in a really bad way, and I was coping terribly with it. I was coping in a really bad way with it.
How are you now about it?
It's still hard for me because I still can't believe I'm in this situation. You know, I still can't believe how much the public want me to be guilty. These all boxing pundits. You're telling me I'm guilty. Boxing pundits telling me I'm guilty. They know me. They know my family. You know what I stand for. You know who I am. Why are you trying to label me a cheat?
You're not.
Okay, let me stop right there. All right, let me stop right there. Everything I've heard him say for the last 15 seconds. Let me answer that question. Why do people think this and why do people think that? Why do they think I'm a cheat? Because of what happened. You know that. You know, why are you guys so quick to call me this and that? Well, how about this, Conor? How about you stop trying to run everybody up the fucking flagpole that tests positive? I think, if anything, Conor Benn should learn from this situation that he is a guy, just like all these other guys, that could be caught in a situation based on how a test reads. And you're subject to the same ridicule as a person that intentionally did something or unintentionally did something. So the whole moral is you shouldn't be, oh, they should be banned for life. Well, motherfucker, stop being that hard on other people when you're in the same situation, sir. See, this is karma, I think. If Conor Benn is innocent, that's only if he's innocent. Because if he's guilty, he's just a fucking hypocrite. But if he's innocent, this should show him, like, look, I know I was innocent. God knows I was innocent. But here I am, nonetheless. It's like almost you're a person, oh man, that motherfucker should go to jail for whatever. And then you go to jail for whatever and didn't do what you did. But you're still under the same punishment as someone that did it. Now you understand, like, oh, well, shit. Maybe, just maybe, there's people in this prison that didn't do anything just like me. They're innocent just like me. And there's a lot of people that do that. They're so judgmental. They're so quick to run someone up the flagpole, throw somebody under the bus. They're so eager to do that to the point where, okay, when it happens to them, now he's talking about suicidal and killing yourself and shit. Why in the fuck would you ever kill yourself when you're innocent? If anything, yeah, you couldn't handle that guilt, so you killed yourself. You knew who your dad was. You knew, you had a family. You know people are going to look at you. The idea of someone staring you down with those smeared ass and faces looking at you with a nasty mug is really, really high on that scale. And knowing that, I don't think he could take it. Him saying that shit right then, that lets me know that he was guilty. Not that you're innocent. See, if you're innocent, you're just going to, hey, man, I didn't do anything. Take that shit on the chin. You better take that shit like Chris Eubank Jr. You better take it and own it. Like, man, I didn't do that. I don't know what y'all talking about. But let's continue.
Right?
Well, there is that talk. You think manufacturing, manipulating, and concealing evidence? I got an independent scientist local report, and that's what we've seen from one of the best labs: manipulation, manufacturing.
But that wasn't verified by the WBC.
What are the WBC going to come out and say?
Well, that's what I mean. You've got to go to the governing body if you can actually look at this properly.
It's hard because I want this to be done. I want this to be finished, and I want to resume with my career. Should I just sit back and accept the fact that...
Are you going to sue the board?
No, of course. I'll be suing the board.
When?
When it will be suing them now. My legal team will be in touch with you. When? As soon as...
For how much
possible.
money, do you know?
Well, for the full loss of earnings, damaged reputation.
How much is
because
that?
The board should have recognised VADA.
Let me ask you this. Let's assume for a moment your theory is right. It's a theory. It's not proven scientifically yet and hasn't been ratified by any governing body. But if your theory is right, it was contaminated, it would prompt the question, well, why? Who would want to do that?
It would be the only way it would be contamination if it...
In whose interest is it to ruin this great fight?
I'm not saying it was deliberate. In the lab? I'm not saying it was deliberate. It may be an error in the testing. I'm not saying deliberately. I'm not saying that anyone's in the lab's deliberately done this. I'm not saying that at all, but it may be an accident. It may be an error.
There are millions and millions of pounds at stake here, dollars, wherever you cite.
Does this all sound, from what I've said about the testing, manipulation, manufacturing, concealing evidence, from what I'm saying to you, Does that sound?
Listen, you sound like you have a welter of information, but I cannot for the life of me understand why you wouldn't then give it to the governing body. It's down to them whether you fight in this country again.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. That to me makes no sense.
I can get a license elsewhere.
What does Eddie? I mean, a lot of time for Eddie Hearn. I think he's a brilliant promoter. He cares about his fighters. He wants you to try and move on from this.
Okay, so let's stop there. Piers is telling him once again, like, look, if you already know people are going to label you a cheat, why are you going and making these documents and spending all this money on judges and this, that, and the other, and you know that people are already going to call you a cheat? Just leave that shit be. Just leave it alone. Because it's almost like, you don't know when somebody tries too damn hard. I mean, they try too hard. They're just trying too hard. Like, yo, stop trying. Stop trying too hard. You're making yourself look suspect. It's almost to the point like, yo, we don't care. I don't care if you did it or not. Just shut up about it. You're going to give yourself a heart attack or a stroke. If that's really bothering you to that capacity, it's either your desire to prove that you're innocent or you're burning up in fucking guilt. Either one. Because they both cause anxiety and stress, right? You know, so, and if you're not going to fight there anyway, what are you on Piers Morgan for?
Right? What have you said to him about that?
¿Qué se necesita para salvar una vida?
The labs made 2 different tests just on him. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Biggest fight possible, the hardest fight. So that when I beat that person in devastating fashion, there's no questions as to my whole career. There's no questions. It's done. That's what I want to do. I can't come back. I don't need no warm up. I don't need no easy fight. I don't need a warm up to get back into it. I'm 26 years old. Give me the best man. Give me the
Have you
biggest
been
man.
training properly?
Of course I have. I've tried throughout this whole period.
Is it hard to train properly when you're in this
Now it's fine.
mental state?
Now it's fine. I struggled. There was probably about 2 months where I was, I was in a really bad way. You know.
Did you talk to your dad about it?
I did, but my dad was in a bad way as well.
Why? Over this?
Over this, yeah. My dad was. I was in a bad way. I was sobbing most nights. Didn't want to go to sleep because if I knew what I had to wake up to. You got to remember, this is a nightmare for me. How has this happened? How have I got in this situation? My faith let me down.
You feel that?
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah.
Let me bring in your dad, who's been listening to this. He's over in Sydney. Nigel, I've not talked to you for a long time. We used to have a few dinners together. It's good to see you. I've got 3 sons, all in their 20s, actually. One of whom is Conor's age. And I can't imagine many tougher things for a father to have to deal with than listening to your son talking in such a profoundly emotional and upsetting way about feeling suicidal in the last few weeks and months since all this went down. How does that, first of all, make you feel as a father to hear this?
I'll tell you what, Piers, I was actually in the same position as my son. I was really struggling as well for myself. I don't really drink. Every night I was drinking like half a bottle of red wine a night on medication. And we both were in a dark place because to me, it looks like this is a witch hunt. It's like we're going back to the 1800s. She's the witch, burn her. And it's like, yeah, burn her. I think, hold on a minute, that's my son. And one thing is, if I ever thought my son was guilty of anything, mate, I'd say, son, I love you, but you know what? You got to deal with this on your own, mate. I'll hang him out to dry. But I was actually in this training camp with him, Piers. I was training with him.
I would say on that there are lots of benefits to being the son of somebody famous. I've had this conversation with my sons. But there are also disadvantages. Conor will get an irrational amount of attention because he's your son. I don't understand why, if there's this compelling dossier of 270 pages of material, why not make that public and why not give it to the British Boxing Board?
Okay, listen, I agree with you, Piers. but the same way I feel that they're dealing with Conor and not these other fighters is the same way they dealt with me.
Listen, Nigel, I understand your passion. I understand Conor's passion. But I also think if you've gone to all this trouble to draw up this massive dossier of evidence,
Right.
and the British Boxing Board is asking for it, I don't understand how it can be anything but bad for your case if you don't hand it over. I mean, at very least, call their bluff. Say, right, here you are. Get them to respond to it. I don't know why, if I was in your position, that's what I would do. You're like your father. You are your own man, right? You are. And if you wanted to, you could put this out there tonight.
Yeah.
I still don't think that proves my innocence at all. I've just been cleared by the organisation, which the testing which I failed.
I don't understand why you wouldn't want to counter that agenda by making public this dossier.
Because I don't know what it is they got in for me. I don't know what vendetta it is.
Yeah,
they
but it's
got.
like saying you're accused of killing someone.
Okay,
You
but
have a massive-
I've been proven innocent by the authorities that run that test.
I wouldn't.
You know, first off, let me say this. What seems suspect to me is when he doesn't listen and he's trying to overtalk Piers Morgan. You know, it's one thing being a poor interviewer, but it's another thing being a poor interviewee. And that happens when people are trying to overtalk because they don't like the questions asked. So what they do, they try to talk with something else or make a statement to drown out that question you're trying to ask them because they're not listening. They heard you already, but they're not really listening because they don't really want that question to be heard or really to be asked because they would have to be responsible for an answer, if that makes sense. Let's keep going.
Proven innocent. They just couldn't.
Well, just give me the clear. They said
They said there's no conclusive evidence. Just to be clear, exactly what they said, right? It's not an absolutely unequivocal. You're definitely innocent, but it's certainly not unhelpful. I've seen sportsmen come back from this when they've gone through the process. Nigel.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I don't know what the legal side of it, but yeah, me personally, and I love my son, you know, and I know for the fact that he's an innocent man.
Nigel, speaking as a father now, you know, Conor talked very movingly about, you know, sobbing every night while talking to you. You're in Australia, the other part of the world, you know, the time zones, you're drinking, you're feeling terrible too. Those conversations must be some of the most painful you've ever had in your life, right? What did you say to Conor in those conversations to try and stop him from, as he put it, you know, considering taking his life?
I'll be honest with you, Piers, it was like I come home here because I was with Conor for 5 months. I wasn't here. I was in England with him. So while he was going through this period, like I was there with him. I'd stayed until January, and then after, then my mum died. So I had so much pressure on me, and I was just a mess. And so I wasn't actually really good for Conor because actually I was trying to be strong. But there again, it was like while he was out, he was dealing with his own issues. I was trying to deal with mine, and we struggled. We both got through together, thank God.
Nigel, I've got to wrap it. Unfortunately, what I would say to you, Conor, is I feel that you're in a lot of pain about this. That's clear, and I'm extremely sorry you've been going through what you've been going through because nobody should ever feel that way, and it's awful. And the court of public opinion on social media can be particularly brutal. I've experienced myself. It's a very, very unpleasant thing. But I also think you can turn that around. But ultimately, this may be down to you, deciding what you want to do with your life and your future and your career. I mean, what is the dream for you out of this hell?
just get back fighting. The fighting's the easy part. The fighting, this has been the hardest fight I've ever had to face. The fighting's the easy part. I'm born fighting. It's in my blood.
Okay. Interesting interview. These are some things that I want to address in Counterpunch, right? First off, if he wants to prove to everybody that he wasn't on anything, he needs to fight the people that he fought because you know those guys called him out. Chris Algieri, Virding, I think his name, Virden, You know, those guys. He needs to fight and beat them both, and he needs to do it similar or worse than he did before. If he's not able to do that, that's a red flag. Second red flag, him over talking. Third red flag, no follow up through. You used one organization that said that didn't even supposed to be accountable in the first place. VADA, okay, by the WBC, you said that it came back inconclusive at this point. So you're saying you don't follow up through with UCAD and BBBFC, the people that you needed to get the license from to clear you to fight Chris Eubank Jr. And that makes no sense to me. There's no follow up through. Anybody could be saying that. He could just be bumping his fucking guns. You don't know. You don't know any of that. So I say, Conor Benn, being 26 years of age, go in there and handle your business against the guys that you've already beat. Do a redo, 2 to 3 tops, to show people like, look, I can still kick ass. Where Chris Eubank Jr. at, or whoever wants me, Errol Spence, whoever, they can get it. Okay, that's it. That is it. And shit, yeah, a lie detector test would be good. That shit will probably be right? Roids don't give you skills, though. King Mike Hall, appreciate you. King Mike Hall in the building. Listen, no, they don't. They just make you feel that you can. Don't make him physically think. I don't think. In my opinion, the problem is Benn is still juicing. Look at him and listen to him. Well, if he gets popped again, he might as well hung himself from a tree. No bullshit. Because if he really felt that way and he's suicidal, I hope he's around someone that knows him. Because, you know, you could find people alone like that and they die. Yeah. They actually kick the bucket. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Piers Morgan and Conor Benn face to face, the whole interview. Leave it below. Please subscribe, hit that like button, hit that super thanks after the video as well. Or, you know, come like my peeps on here and just send it right to me. But anyway, I thank you all. God bless you all. And you all have been Counterpunched. Peace.